Hey everybody, this is Mr. Brooks, and wow, what a great first day of our conferences, of our adulting conference. And I want to give a little recap of day one for me, and then I'm going to announce a few little minor details and changes that have happened. And then I'm going to give my keynote speech. And first I'm going to go over some stuff with this. The keynote speakers are really we ask important people because our principal is important, and um, Miss Usher is on the is a assistant superintendent, so she's very important for us. But we ask them to kind of reflect and try to give their thoughts on the conference and some things that they want to impart on you as you go about this conference. And so those are not recorded in the required sessions. You are not going to write a reflection for me, at least. I think you do have to do something for Miss Hart. But we strongly encourage it. Just watch them, and listen. Um, so these do not count as our 10 required. So you need to pick 10 out of all these. And then the other thing is that these three recorded right here also cannot count as part of the 10 because we did them in the profile of a graduate, but they are there for you if you need them. So if you're going to college next year and you have not filled out the FAFSA, and by college, I mean any college, any post-secondary um, training, you want to fill out the FAFSA. So even if you're going to carpentry school or something, um, you need to fill out the FAFSA because that's how you get your money. Okay. So these are here for you as a reference, and you can take this week to look at those. Um, there's on the registration. This session with Miss Kunze was not on the registration, and that is now added to the registration. So if you want, you can go back and add that to your registration. She had a great session with budgeting. Very, excuse me, just a wonderful speaker and had a lot of thoughts, and her ideas flowed from her very well. I thought, everybody listened and asked questions, and she got everybody involved and did a great job. So we're really lucky to have her. And she said she wants to perhaps partner with us moving forward for some other projects. So she was not on there. Dominic McCamish is our last session at 11 on Thursday. That was on the registration, but um, he is also doing the same maintenance as Miss Kunze. Um, and so you might pick if you want to go to that, or if you went to the first one and you said, "Oh, this was good. I want to learn more," then go to Mr. McCamish's. Um, he is our coach. That's what I was going with. So we're our own coach here has decided to add to it, and that's awesome. And the last session is right here. Mr. Kiernan, he is a longtime friend of me, and he has had this amazing journey in life, like, travel around the world, bike across the United States, sail in a straw raft in the Atlantic Ocean, like that kind of thing. And he is a engineer by trade. And so if you're thinking about going into something like architecture, engineering, if you like math, if you like, figuring out the way the world works, or if you like adventures and stories, uh, Gene Kiernan is by far one of the more interesting people. Um, so while he is the last session and while it is at 8 a.m., he is giving his time from Florida. And I'm just going to give him a shout out. I think that you guys would probably love to hear that if you are that type of person with an adventurous spirit or a curious mind. So always love talking with him. At 8:30 on Friday, I will watch CNN 10. And so if you guys want to come join me, we will watch CNN 10 together. I want to invite you to that. And then Energy Team meeting at 9 a.m. So Energy Team should come to there. We're going to talk a little bit about stuff. And then we have BVLA hangout at 11 o'clock on Friday. So all the teachers will be there, and we'll talk about the conference, and we'll share our thoughts and feelings and all that. And so that's that. Okay. Okay. So today I was at Mr. Larry Moore, and he did not social media, but information, and that went pretty well. I think that I told everybody at the beginning of the conference, this was really one of my like big things that adults should be able to do is just, not fall into the traps that are being set out there for us. Be it financial, be it relationships, or be it in our civically minded lives where we exist in a democracy working with our fellow human beings. Because unfortunately, right now there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening where what you read online has a perception of being real life, but it's not. And there's a lot of ways to take it. And I think I would like to try to set up a class for it and explain my thoughts on it, which I might do. But he actually works in the industry and he actually does these presentations for a living. And so he actually probably would do a more professional presentation than I would. Mrs. Brooks asked a really good question. Why is it that you want a job? And I never even thought about that. It was just like, okay, I'm of age, I need to get a job. And I think, that's a real good question. What does the job mean to me? Like, what's my why do I have a job? Is it just for the money? Is it to support my family? Is it to be a good role model for my son? Um, is it to express myself creatively? You know, um, I thought that was a really good question she posed, and she talked a lot about, you got to deal with people at work, and the company's got policies for a reason, and all that. I was able to hop in with Christian Moore, and he was fantastic. He's another good friend of mine from back in Lexington, and started off selling cell phones. Started off waiting tables, and then selling cell phone plans, and just excelled at everything, customer service, customer service. Then he went and got into insurance, and if you stay in insurance a long time, you make lots of money. But he didn't stay at somebody else's practice. He excelled at it, but he said, this is something I really want to do for myself. So he started his own insurance company, and just a great personality. Really knows how to connect with people. Really knows how to sound approachable. And I did not get a chance to hop into Miss Hobbs' customer service and phone etiquette, but I think that that's extremely valuable. Rick Evans, I looked at all of his notes, and he looked great. So I'm going to go back and watch that. And then Miss Usher actually got out the Padlet and had everybody talk about, real life situations with being deadlines. And that's exciting because, we don't oftentimes we hear the advice, right? We hear people tell us to be on time, to make eye contact, but we don't talk about like what it really looks like in application, or we don't talk about how often we're going to have to do it, or um, when, sorry, I lost my train of thought. How what it really looks like when we apply it, because the advice is easy to take in, but it's hard to actually apply it. And sometimes you're gonna make that mistake. You're gonna be in a situation in life, and you're not gonna use what people told you, and then you're gonna reflect on it later, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, that was really hard." Um, but that's okay. We've all done it. And if you reflect on it, and if you prepare yourself mentally, you'll probably handle the situation better the next time. Okay. And then, like I said, Miss Kunze did such a fantastic job, and we had a lot of students asking a lot of really good questions, and that could have went on for another 30 minutes. And luckily, her colleague Ruth is going to do another managing bills and budgeting, which you can honestly talk about for 6 months because there's so many different aspects of it. So, all right. So now for my kind of keynote speech kind of thing. Um, my daughter is 17 and about to turn 18, and she thinks she has to be an adult right away, and in a way, she has to be more adult than everybody else. But she is going to go. Her friend invited her to interview a cosmetologist, a hairdresser, and talk about training and how to get into that business. And my daughter said, I don't know if this is what I want to do. So is it a waste of time? and it's never a waste of time. You wanna hear as much information as you can. You wanna hear as many different viewpoints and stories, and it's and then, she said, "Well, I don't wanna disappoint her, like, she's having me talk to the hairdresser, and if I say I don't wanna be a hairdresser, then I'm gonna disappoint her." And guys, that's not true, you know? You can't do everything. You have to do the best you can, and you have to just pick that path that's best for you. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't go and listen to the hairdresser, because the hairdresser might tell you something you haven't known before, and you're never gonna learn that not listening to other people. So I told her, "You need to go and you need to listen to the hairdresser's story, and if you say, 'Oh, I didn't know that. I wanna do this,' then great, and if you say, 'Oh, I didn't know that, and, I still think I wanna go and choose career route B,' then that awesome, really." And you're not gonna offend anybody if you don't, but you are gonna miss out on the opportunity to make the connection, and you're gonna miss out on the opportunity to not fall into the pitfall, not fall into the trap if you don't listen. And so that's what we're doing here with this week, guys. We are giving you a chance to listen to a lot of amazing people, and they're not sharing their life story, but they're just sharing a small part of what they think is important. And really, you're not going to take with you the whole life story. You're going to take just a little piece of what it is that they're offering, because we can't take in this much information. If you just take away, okay, what's the big idea, or what's one big idea that Mrs. Brooks offered today? And then what does that look like in my life? That's what you're trying to do. And if you get done with 10 and you have time, because I know there's student conferences this week, and there's ACT remediation, and then there's Edgenuity, and I get it. There's a lot, guys. But if you have time for extra, then go. And if you can go back and listen to the recordings of sessions that you missed because of time, 2 at once, then do it, you know? Uh, Personal branding. This is something that a lot of people hear about and they tune out. Oh, personal branding, here we go. But, you don't know how important it is until it's too late, guys, okay? Um, Living a healthy lifestyle. You might think, "Well, I've been fine for 17 years." But, guys, your adult body is different than your child body. And, we all know what makes us healthy. It's eating right and exercising. And somehow 50% of Americans are obese, not overweight, obese. So obviously, people that think, "Oh, this is easy," is, you know, it's never as easy as it seems, right? I mean, everybody can tell you, if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, eat right and exercise. It's that easy. But then, how do you apply that? How does that really fit into an adult life, in any life? And that's what I was talking about earlier. It's easy to hear the information, but it's that deeper understanding about application, and that's where we want you guys to take this stuff with you. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying your week. It's so good to see you guys, and make sure you're doing what you got to do, and we will see you as we see you.